Ladies and gentlemen, it's quite often here on the channel that we find things which will inevitably end up changing speedcubing forever. But it's very rare that you find a revolution of sorts to the entire way an event works. And 1 month ago, we saw just that. Going into his last solve, all Sean Patrick Villanueva needed to secure the one-handed world record average was a 9.18. And he didn't just do that, but ended it with a 763, giving him a new world record average of 809. The largest drop we had seen in 10 years. It was at this point that most people in the community had realized that the revolution was legit. Sean even dropped a 660 in his world record average, just 0.4 of a second away from the world record single. That brings us to this last Sunday when Sean not only achieved the fastest Rue average we've ever seen with 2 hands, but also the other record everyone has been chasing for over 2 years. I even made a whole video covering all of the insane results we've been seeing leading up to this moment. 638, 628, 625, and finally 605, the new one-handed world record single by a man who does not use CFOP. Something that we haven't seen since, well, ever. Sean now holds the world record average, world record single, and is the current world champion in OH. This is the culmination of all of the talk we've seen about Rue and why it's probably better than CFOP for OH. But let me tell you, this solve is an absolute masterclass in a method that you probably don't even know how to do. But this solve had some insane look ahead that I can't even explain combined with moves that I can't execute. Sorry guys. I'm incompetent. And honestly, just looking at Rue solutions really does feel like magic sometimes, because in this world record, Sean is allowed to do things that people who use CFOP like myself have never even considered doing in our lives. So this will definitely be one of the coolest reconstructions I've ever done, no doubt about that. Also, this solve definitely should have been sub 6, and I'll show you exactly how here in a minute. If you haven't learned the Rue method before, basically how it works is we're going to be solving a right block and a left block that look like this, and then the M slice is going to be open for us to just do M and U moves to finish off the solve. So none of this in the middle needs to be solved until the final step. Sean does this solve on yellow, so you can scramble with the yellow top and green front. So on this solve in particular, Sean decides to start off with the left block, and how he's going to start forming that block is by using this 2x1 right here, so kind of this green pair, you could think of it like that, and he's going to be putting this one on the left side, and then he's going to also use this edge to connect it right here, and then you'll see how we make this into a little square right here. So he starts to solve from this angle, and then he's just going to do a D prime to of course put this on the left, and then to connect this edge, all he needs to do is an R, and that just connects it to its corresponding center, and then you can actually do a wide U prime, and that's a little bit faster than doing a D prime. Of course you would have to rotate, so it's against all of the Rue principles, which is that you don't rotate at all during Rue solves. And so when this is connected, he can simply do a wide U prime. And that'll solve this block right here with the orange-green. And that's something that translates between Rue and CFOP, that you are going to be wanting to solve the back pairs first in both methods preferably. So now if you'll notice, since we have this done in the back, all he needs to do is solve the next orange-white pair into the front, and then that'll finish off the left block. And it turns out that his front-left pair is actually all the way down here, so this is something that can never happen in CFOP. So he's going to need to use a pretty cool solution to end up solving these two. So how he does this in the solve is he basically brings up this orange-blue corner to the top, and then he just does a U move so that he can pair them up by doing a wide R2. So this is a really, really cool solution that you'll only ever see in Rue, because of course this side, it doesn't really matter what we do to this middle layer and this right layer because nothing's going on there at this moment in time. And he can also just insert the pair with an F prime, which is very, very move efficient, and it's one of the reasons a lot of people use Rue. Because, you know, you don't need to rotate and then insert it, you can just simply insert it with one move. And then the situation we have right here is we're going to need to form a block on the right side. So how he gets that started is basically just by solving this red-white edge into the bottom down here, and then you can notice that while we're doing that, we're actually tracking this as our next pair. So he's solving that into the bottom, and then these two are very, very easy, just a 3-mover. It's exactly how you would solve it in CFOP. This is the most move-efficient way to do it, even when you have all of these extra options, because you're using Rue. And then this is where the just absolutely insane look ahead from Sean comes in here. So if you notice, this is the corner piece that we need to solve into the back right, but just taking a look at the cube from this angle, we can't really find the corresponding edge anywhere in our field of view right now. And the thing is, Sean actually knew that this edge was all the way back here during this step because of just the absolutely pauseless nature of this first 2 blocks that he does. So he somehow not only knew that it was going to be all the way back here, but he also knew what the orientation of this piece was, which basically means that he knew it was going to be kind of connected to its center like this. So that's very, very impressive as well. So how we can pair these up is basically just by doing a U prime to put this piece at the back, and then he can just do an M move. and that pairs these two up, which is another luxury you have when using the roux method. Of course, no rotations and very, very efficient solving here. And then, of course, inserting this pair with the wide R moves because, again, roux method, you get some liberties you don't get with Cipher. And this is where the luck comes in. Of course, getting a 605 world record single, you're going to need a little bit of luck on your solve. And that did happen to him here, getting what is known as a CMLL skip. Basically, this part of the solve, you would do an algorithm to put all of the yellow corners facing up and also solve them into their places. It's basically the OLL step of the roux method. So this is a part of the solve where finger tricks really do matter. I can't really show you that because I'm kind of incompetent again. So this part of the solve basically just consists of solving this orange-yellow piece, which is right here. So we just need to flip it in its spot. And then also solving this yellow-red piece, which we're going to put opposite of this one. So how he does that is basically by doing a U2, and then he's just going to do an M prime, U prime, M. And the reason it's M prime, U prime is because he kind of just wanted to separate these two pieces, I guess, and he also solves this red one while doing that. And then to actually solve the orange-yellow piece, which he now knows exactly where all of his pieces are, is just by doing M prime, U2, M prime. And that solves both of these opposite of each other. And finally, the last step of the solve is just going to be solving these last four edge pieces, which are out of their places. And it's pretty easy for him to do this step in the case he got, just because, you know, you just need to flip these two on both the top and the bottom. So how he does that is just M prime, U2, M2, U2, M prime. And yeah, that solves the cube. So yeah, that's how the fastest roux solver in the world does his solves. This was probably the best judging I have ever seen on a world record solve. This dude is basically a machine the way he immediately writes down the time and makes sure this counts. Because we've seen situations before where something went wrong in the process of writing the time down on the scorecard, and that can lead to pretty terrible things happening. So this is a top 5 judge of all time, but also shout out to dude over here. I would also be this happy if I were in this video as well, so I can't really blame him. But one of the craziest things about the solve itself is that I heard he actually even made a mistake on the last step where he could have basically solved it more efficiently. But you know, not really being a roux user myself in the first place, I won't really comment on that. I don't care. This is how I should have done it. Should have just inserted this orange piece into the bottom like this. So now you have these two opposites to each other on the bottom. You just do a U2 so that it lines it up perfectly so that you can insert both of them into the top. And then you just finish the solve, and sub 6, I guess. But this solve really could have been sub 6, which at this rate, I have no doubt that we'll be seeing that very, very soon from Sean or otherwise. But going back to that video I made a month ago about this exact topic, I was actually wrong because I thought it was going to be a much larger drop than the 0.15 we got. I mean, OH really is at a boiling point right now, and that's why I'm unsure of how long this record will even stand, and Sean could probably go ahead and just break it again himself. Anyway, roux is taking over OH, and who knows what happens when the 6-year-olds, who are in fact already faster than you at 3x3 with 2 hands, get their hands on this roux one-handed method, and they end up, you know, just being faster than you at one-handed as well. Who knows what happens when that happens? I don't know. You tell me. Please, let me know in the comments. Also, if you're still here, I'm going to be streaming on Saturday for the 1-year anniversary of the channel. Can you believe that? It's already been a year. So, yeah. Be there or be square. Or, should I say, cubed. But yeah, I really felt bad for not covering the average that happened at the end of May, but at least I got to this one, so, you know, besides that, that's about it. See ya.